In this video, I want to look at how the world's leading philosopher changed his mind about God. Professor Antony Flew is an English philosopher, most notable for his work related to the philosophy of religion. During the course of his career, he taught at the universities of Oxford, Aberdeen, Keele and Reading, and at York University in Toronto. For much of his career, Antony Flew was known as a strong advocate of atheism, arguing that one should presuppose atheism until empirical evidence of a God surfaces. He also criticised the idea of life after death, the free will defence to the problem of evil, and the meaningfulness of the concept of God. However, in 2004, he changed his position, he changed his mind, and stated that he now believed in the existence of an intelligent creator of the universe, shocking his colleagues and fellow atheists. In order to further clarify his personal concept of God, Antony Flew openly made an allegiance to deism, more specifically a belief in the Aristotelian God, which he will define in his book in a second, and dismissed on many occasions any call to convert to Christianity, Islam, or any other religion. He stated that in keeping with his lifelong commitment to go wherever the evidence leads, he now believed in the existence of a God. I just want to quote some passages from his last book, There Is No God, where the N has been crossed off. There is a God. How the World's Most Notorious Atheist Changed His Mind by Antony Flew. And I've read all this book, and I just want to quote some of the juicier passages from it. In chapter 4, entitled A Pilgrimage of Reason, he writes, "Let us begin with a parable. Imagine that a satellite phone is washed ashore on a remote island inhabited by a tribe that has never had contact with modern civilization. The natives play with the numbers on the dial pad and hear different voices upon hitting certain sequences. They assume first that it's the device that makes these noises. Some of the cleverer natives, the scientists of the tribe, assemble an exact replica and hit the numbers again. They hear the voices again. The conclusion seems obvious to them. This particular combination of crystals and metals and chemicals produce what seems like human voices, and this means that the voices are simply properties of the device. But the tribal sage," by sage Flew probably means a philosopher, "a tribal sage summons the scientists for a discussion. He has thought long and hard on the matter and has reached the following conclusion. The voices coming through the instrument must be coming from people like themselves, people who are living and conscious, although speaking in a different language. Instead of assuming that the voices are simply properties of the handset, they should investigate the possibility that through some mysterious communication network they are in touch with other humans. Perhaps further study along these lines could lead to a greater understanding of the world beyond their island." But the scientists simply laugh at the sage and say, "Look, when we damage the instrument, the voices stop coming. So they're obviously nothing more than sounds produced by a unique combination of lithium and printed circuit boards and light-emitting diodes." End of parable. In this parable, we see how easy it is to let preconceived theories shape the way we view evidence, instead of letting the evidence shape our theories. A Copernican leap may thus be prevented by 1,000 Ptolemaic epicycles. Defenders of Ptolemy's geocentric model of the solar system resisted Copernicus's heliocentric model by using the concept of epicycles to explain away observations of planetary motion that conflicted with their model. And in this, it seems to me, lies the peculiar danger, the endemic evil of dogmatic atheism. Remember, Flew was himself a dogmatic atheist. Take such utterances as, quote, we should not ask for an explanation of how it is that the world exists. It is here, and that's all. Or, since we cannot accept a transcendent source of life, we choose to believe the impossible, that life arose spontaneously by chance from matter. Or, the laws of physics are lawless laws that arise from the void. End of discussion. These quotes look at first sight like rational arguments that have a special authority because they have a no-nonsense air about them. Of course, this is no more sign that they are either rational or arguments. And then the next quote. As for my new position on the classical philosophical debates about God, in this area I was persuaded above all by the philosopher David Conway's argument for God's existence in his book The Recovery of Wisdom, From Here to Antiquity in Quest of Sophia. Conway is a distinguished British philosopher at Middlesex University who is equally at home with classical and modern philosophy. The God whose existence is defended by Conway and myself, writes Flew, is the God of Aristotle. Conway writes, in sum, to the being, there's a capital B in being, to the being whom he considered to be the explanation of the world and its broad form, Aristotle ascribed the following attributes: immutability, immateriality, omnipotence, omniscience, oneness or indivisibility, perfect goodness, and necessary existence. There is an impressive correspondence between this set of attributes and those traditionally ascribed to God within the Judeo-Christian tradition. It is one that fully justifies us in viewing Aristotle as having had the same divine being in mind as the cause of the world that is the object of worship of these two religions. End quote. For some reason, Flew doesn't even think about Islam, but obviously this applies to Islam as well. So that clarifies Flew's own concept of God that he embraced after leaving atheism. And now some of the reasons, the scientific reasons why he began to embrace theism or belief in God. And he quotes Paul Davies, the famous astrophysicist. Paul Davies highlights the same problem, he writes. He observes that most theories of biogenesis is the idea of life just coming about, apparently out of nowhere. Most theories of biogenesis have concentrated on the chemistry of life, but life is more than just complex chemical reactions. The cell also is an information storing, processing, and replicating system. We need to explain the origin of this system, of this information, and the way in which the information processing machinery came to exist. He emphasizes the fact that the gene is nothing but a set of coded instructions with a precise recipe for manufacturing proteins. Most important, these genetic instructions are not the kind of information you find in thermodynamics and statistical mechanics. Rather, they constitute semantic information. In other words, they have a specific meaning. These instructions can be effective only in a molecular environment capable of interpreting the meaning in the genetic code. The origin question of biogenesis rises to the top at this point. The problem of how meaningful or semantic information can emerge spontaneously from a collection of mindless molecules subject to blind and purposeless forces presents a deep conceptual challenge. This is the end of that quote. So you can see some of the reasons why Flew, in the light of modern science, abandoned atheism. And the last quote here, because there are so many, is again to do with the origin of life. So how do we account for the origin of life, Professor Flew asks. The Nobel Prize-winning physiologist George Wald, W-A-L-D, once famously argued that we choose to believe the impossible, that life arose spontaneously by chance. Now, of course, this is what Flew himself believed. This is what atheists believe. This Nobel Prize-winning scientist says, in later years, however, he concluded that a pre-existing mind, which he posits as the matrix of physical reality, composed the physical universe that breeds life. And then he quotes the Nobel Prize-winning professor, who says as follows: "How is it that, with so many other apparent options, we are in a universe that possesses just that peculiar nexus or properties that breeds life? It has occurred to me lately, I must confess with some shock at first to my scientific sensibilities, that both questions might be brought into some degree of congruence. This is with the assumption that mind, rather than emerging as a late outgrowth in the evolution of life, has existed always as the matrix, the source and condition of physical reality. That the stuff of which physical reality is constructed is mind stuff. It is mind that has composed a physical universe that breeds life, so eventually evolves creatures that know and create. Science, art, technology-making creatures." That's the end quote there. And then Flew says, "This too is my conclusion. The only satisfactory explanation for the origin of such end-directing, self-replicating life as we see on Earth is an infinitely intelligent mind with a capital M." And of course, we call that mind God. So there we go. That's the book. It's very interesting. His arguments are based, he says his whole position has not really changed. He only goes where the evidence leads. So he says that in his earlier career, he didn't see any good evidence for the existence of God, he says. But now, with the advent of the discovery of DNA and the role of genes in producing proteins, and this semantic nature of genes requiring a meaningful understanding of the whole process of producing genes and life, this goes way beyond atheism, and this suggests intelligence, it suggests mind, and thus it suggests God. Not just the DNA, but a whole host of other scientific discoveries lead Professor Flew to abandon atheism and embrace this belief in God. So I think this is a great story of a man who had the courage to admit that he was wrong. Here's a man who was the world's most notorious atheist. He spent decades arguing against believers in God, ridiculing their beliefs, refuting them philosophically. He came to believe that was wrong. In fact, God does exist because the evidence, he says, led him to believe that. So there we go. That's the story of how the world's most notorious atheist changed his mind. And to my knowledge, he never actually converted to any other religion. I think he was warming towards the Christian faith, given his own cultural background. But I don't think he ever converted to any other religion. And let's pray that he found a merciful God who accepted him into paradise. Till next time.